Good morning, guys. MWUSA Season 4, Episode 217. And I feel like yesterday my brain was just everywhere. I didn't remember what I was talking about. I didn't remember what we'd gone over. I just had so much on my mind yesterday. So much stuff going on. I didn't tell you half the stuff that was happening because I didn't want to give a lot of things away. But obviously, still going through a lot of turmoil right now, a lot of ups and downs, but trying to work things out and closing in on some solutions. Solutions now include my first trip under the new methods of doing things here. Also, going to an area that I've stayed away from, even though it's closer than most of the places that I go to, just because the game is not as good, and I may be spending some time there in between. So a lot of things happening right now. I'm still very confused by what this place is doing that I've been visiting lately, with their facial recognition, with all these different weird things, opening up cards for people that they didn't ask them to open and things like that. So still very concerned about a lot of that stuff. But I think everything's going to be okay, but it's going to be very different. So the outlook for the rest of the year, probably October, November, December, it's going to be very different than what it is right now. The games I want to play are going to be different, and I'm going to be visiting a lot of different regions that we're not going to now, and some regions that I've never been to. So it's a little bit of an adventure. Nobody likes change, but you never know. Things may be a lot better. So this morning, cloudy skies. It rained last night. Looks like it's going to be kind of an ugly day. There's a light mist right now. Temperatures right now are still pretty cool. I don't know what the temperature is, but I would guess probably low 50s, or maybe high 50s, something like that. I'm actually driving through an area that has no internet, so I couldn't even tell you what the temperature is. Today's outlook is going to be playing a little bit of blackjack this morning, and then visiting a casino that I never visited in the daytime, and then heading back. And that round trip is going to be almost 9 hours. I do have two meetings, one of them at 8:45 and one at 10:30, I believe. So we're going to be doing one meeting on the road while we're driving. It's going to be a short one, like a 15-minute meeting. And then we're going to arrive at our first casino. We're going to do one session, go to the car, do the other meeting, and then come back and either do another session or a little bit of poker, and then continue on to our next casino. So either way, we're going to hit first and second shift. It may be as late as first and third shift, so that could be pretty bad. Looks like it's 60 degrees outside, so probably going to be a pretty warm day. Looks like, no, I'm always wrong. 60 right now. High for the day is 70, and chance of rain is about 30% all day long. So anyway, we are on our way to our first casino. A lot of thoughts here. I haven't listened to yesterday's episode. Most times I just publish without listening, but I want to go back and listen to it and see, just how things went down. I know yesterday there was big gaps between my recordings, but that's because there was so much stuff going on. I was fielding 10 phone calls yesterday about casinos, what's going on with casinos, changes at casinos, people I know getting kicked out of casinos, different games, all kinds of stuff happening. So it was kind of a hectic day. Anyway, for now, letting you go, and I'll be back to update you soon. Alright guys, I am back, and I was in there for 3.5 hours. So we'll go through this. I do need some fuel though, so hopefully I don't run out before I get to a gas station. Got about 10 miles range here, so we'll start talking here, and then we'll stop and get some fuel, and then finish up. So, all right. So I go into this casino and start looking at slots right away, and I'm really not finding anything, just like very minor, like $1, $2 stuff. And then I decide to go play some blackjack. Go to the table, sit down, start playing, and then I thought, I'm ahead a little bit here, and I've been getting a lot of heat. My friends have been getting a lot of heat. Maybe I should go play something that you can't beat, just to mess around a little bit here, and just to, I don't know if it helps or not, but my image here so far has been of a gambler and not so much of an AP. But the way they've been putting in stuff in the system, it makes me look like an AP, so I decided to go play some other games. So I went and played Baccarat. So I finished up on the blackjack table plus $300. I went and played Baccarat for about half an hour or so, and just, minimum amounts, just sitting around. I played that for about half an hour or so, and just so slow. People are coming to the table buying in for 100, other people buying in for 3,000, other people 2,000, 5,000, and then they stand around staring forever, and then they make a decision, and then the dealer's like, okay, we're gonna deal. And wait, we still gotta bet something. And so it was, in that half hour, I probably got less than 6 hands in. I mean, it was that bad. It not like a minute between. It was like a long time between, which I was okay with, because my whole goal was to just sit there and look like I fit in with the rest of the people. I ended up leaving that table ahead $16.25. $16.25. So, at that point, I went back to slots while I waited for the shift change to happen, and did the slot session. I had $90. So then I know that the shift change is going to take a little while. There's poker starting, and I decided to put myself on the Pot Limit Omaha list, and I did that, and I was like 12th or 13th on the list or more, because there were some people who had called, so they were ahead of me, but they weren't there yet. But the table wasn't available. I would have gotten it if they weren't there, but they weren't there. So waited by the poker area for about 5 or 10 minutes. Nothing happened. I took a lap, and none of the tables were open yet. I came back, still a long way away. Looked around, came back again. Now they were opening one of the tables, but I was still pretty far down. Because people were arriving that were just phone calls before, so technically I was still 10th or 12th. So I go back and find a blackjack table. So I talked to a friend of mine who's a dealer first. Talked to him for a minute while I was waiting for a table to open up, and then I was going to go to the high limit to look, but then I noticed there was some commotion going on, and I looked, and somebody had just hit one of their side bets for like the maximum jackpot amount. I don't know if I should say how much. It was 6 figures, a big number, so it was a lot of money, and they had hit it on a 6 to 5 table. Betting table minimum like $10 with $5 on the bonus. Can you imagine? You're playing a negative EV game on a negative EV table with a negative EV side bet, negative 12.5%, 13% side bet on a -2 or 3 table. And the funny thing about that was, when I walked over there, it turned out that 2 guys had argued about that seat. Can you imagine? They're arguing about that seat on a 6 to 5 table, but they wanted to play less money. Even though they were forced to play the side bet, they didn't care. They just wanted to play a lower limit table. So the one guy was arguing that, I wanted to sit there and he wouldn't let me and all this stuff, and you should give me a percentage of it and all this stuff. And then all the pit bosses were busy over there verifying, keeping people back, and don't touch your chips and don't touch the table and all this kind of stuff going on. And that took them a good 10 minutes or so to sort that out. In the meantime, I noticed the table had just opened up with a fresh shoe. It was a $25 table. So I sit down there while everyone's in the commotion over there. And I start playing. And the count starts going up. I start raising my bet, doing okay, up and down, but overall hanging in there. And never was down at all. And then table starts to even out a little bit. The count gets back to neutral. Then I start getting a couple people coming to the table. And I'm like, there's no reason for me to be at this table with a negative count with multiple people at the table. So I go to color up. I had bought in for 300 and I colored up 675. So I was ahead 375. Well, of course, she stacked it up on the table and, called the pit boss over and nobody came. Called the pit boss over, no one came. Guy was walking by. He's like, okay, go ahead, stack it up. And he's like, it's already stacked up. And then he was called away and he couldn't approve it. And we had to wait a little bit longer. And then finally someone came and approved it. And I walked away from the table. So at this point, I'm up like 700 or so on the tables and $90 on the slots. And I go back to the Pot Limit Omaha. And my idea was if I can't get in on that table, I'm going to move on to another casino. But going on to the other casino adds easily 4.5 hours to my trip, so that's a long way to go. So I'd rather not do that if I don't have to. So I get there and my name is off the list. So in that quick amount of time, whatever it was, half an hour, everyone above me had been taken to a table and there were seats open. So I went up and asked me my name. I said Joe, and they said, okay, Joe, you have a seat. And I sit down and I buy in for 300, and it's a 3-3 PLO table. And I start playing, and about the second or third hand that I play, I get involved all in and end up losing the hand, and that was a bad one too. So I'm not very happy. I buy in for 300 more. Buy in for 300, and I'm playing, and let me see if I can pull this picture up and tell you exactly how it went down. There we go. So I've got, remember this is Omaha, I've got ace, jack 10 suited. The jack 10 are suited, and I have two aces. And it's like 60 in the pot. I remember I had just rebought. I might have lost a hand or two before that, but I mean, small amounts, $10 maybe each. And the flop is ace, 8, ace. Okay, so I just flopped quads. That's just amazing. I'm like, too bad there's no high hand, right? Because Pot Limit Omaha. And so I check, and the guy goes pot, which was like $60, I think, something like that. And then the turn comes a 6, which is a nothing, of course. And I check, and he makes it like 120, which leaves me with like 50 or 60 back. And I push all in. He calls. I didn't even see what his cards were. I flipped it over. I have no idea what the guy had. I have a picture here. River came a 5, so I've got 4 aces with an 8 kicker. And so I get the pot, and that gets me back to a little bit over even. I've got like 650, 680, something like that. And I play a little bit longer. There's a timer. There is a bad beat jackpot, but the way it works is if you're playing Omaha, then you have to have it on the flop just to make it fair. So I did have it on the flop, and they put me up there. I had like 22 minutes before I get paid out, and it was a $500 payout. And the guys at the table are like, if you stay until 4 o'clock and your hand holds, there's a $2,500 if it holds the whole day. And I'm like, okay. Now things are going through my mind at this point, right? Number one is, okay, I'm going to most likely win this 500. and I won't need ID because it's 500. If I win the 2,500, I may need ID. But then again, I don't know how it works here, because usually you only need ID for poker where I've played. If you win like a tournament for 5,000 or more, I don't know if it's $599 or $1,200 or what the level is. But so all these things are swirling in my head, and I'm like, well, would one of you guys want to buy my $2,000 or $2,500? No, it's kind of a long time, but usually quad aces will hold. I'm like, okay, well, let's just take it one step at a time here and see. It might not even hold. So I'm getting ready to get up. The countdown gets to 0. I wait like 10 minutes. They still haven't paid me, and I get involved in a bomb pot. Well, the bomb pot is a $25 bomb pot, double board PLO bomb pot. Okay, and so I'm dealt ace deuce of diamonds with 3-3, ace deuce 3-3, ace deuce 3-4, ace deuce 3-4. No, that's not it. No, I'm sorry. It's ace deuce deuce 3. That's what it was. Ace deuce deuce 3. And the ace deuce was suited, and the 2-3 was suited also. So I have a great starting hand, especially for a bomb pot. And the flop comes with 2 diamonds and a straight draw on the top board, 2 diamonds and a straight draw on the bottom board. The guy makes it pot. Another guy repots it. I go all in. Tell me if I'm wrong there. I believe that's a good call, right? So there's nothing is paired on the board, and I've got the nut, the wheel draw, and the ace high flush draw on both boards. So I'm in for the whole $600 that I have, and I end up missing on both of the top and both on the bottom, and I end up with like a ace high, a pair of aces on top, and a pair of 3s on the bottom, I think, something like that. And I end up losing both boards to a guy who had a straight on top and a pair of 5s on the bottom. And that was just devastating. Now I'm waiting for my $500, and I just lost $600 waiting for it. So I've got a purple chip in my pocket, so I put the purple chip out there, and I stick around. And next hand, I lose, or a couple hands later, I lose half of my $500 chip. Now this is becoming a nightmare. We start off with, a nice win with the high hand, and then I lose my profit. I was ahead, whatever, a couple hundred. Lose that profit, and I have the 500 coming from the high hand, so I'm still in good shape. Then I lose the whole 600 I have on the table, and then I lose 250 of another 500 on the table. I'm like, this is becoming a nightmare. So on the table, I'm in for $1,100 now, and I've got 250 in front of me with the $500 coming. Well, immediately following the hand I lose the 250 on, I more than double up on the next hand. So now I've got 690 or something like that. Yeah, it was 690 in front of me. And so now overall, I'm ahead. It was actually 99. I was ahead 99. I had 699 plus the 500 coming. So then the pit boss comes over. Problem number 1. That pit boss is also a table games pit boss, like a blackjack pit boss. So to me, that's an issue. And I was thinking to myself, what if they ask me my name? And then I thought, well, that's okay. I'll just give him the name I've been giving him for 4.5 years. It's no big deal. Then I thought, what if they ask me for ID? And he's like, and I'm like, well, I'll just tell him I don't want to give ID, because in the past I've won a bad beat, and not give an ID, and it's been okay. So, okay, that's fine. So the guy comes over, and I don't like this guy at all. He's just one of these guys that rubs me the wrong way. And so he's like, okay, I need your ID. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. And I'm like, I've never needed ID in the past. He's like, okay, just give me your name then. I'm like, Joe. He's like, Joe what? I said, Joe K. Or am I going to say Joe Kick-Ass? Seriously, is he going to believe me if I say Joe Kick-Ass? So he's like, no, I need a full name. Joe K is not good enough. I'm like, that is my full name. He's like, what do you mean? I said, K-A-Y, Joe K. I'm like, yeah, the only thing I could think of to say was K-A-Y was my last name. So he ends up giving me the $500 chip. And new rule at this place, if you win the Bad Beat jackpot, you have to put your chip on the table. Your $500 chip is in play. I'm like, F you. I'm not going to keep it in play. So I ended up just taking my chips, sticking them all in my pocket, which was a huge number of chips because I had like $150 in ones and fives, and I had a 25-cent chip from the baccarat table and some $100 chips, a bunch of quarter chips. So I had a pocket full of chips. And I just walked out of the poker room where I could have just cashed it right there, but I walked out of the poker room, and then I'm thinking to myself, I'm stupid. Why did I just walk out of here? I got past where the guy was asking me for my name, and there's a cashier right there. Now I'm going to go to the main cashier, and I've got like, I took a picture of it. I've got like 15 inches of chips. Like if you stack them up, it's like 15 inches tall of chips. And now I'm walking to the cashier, and I'm going to try to cash out all these chips in this big stack. And I was thinking to myself, how stupid am I to do this? I ended up going to the cashier and put the chips on the table. Actually, I waited in line. There was only one cashier open. Another cashier was doing something. I have no idea what he was doing. So there was only one cashier, and she was cashing a lady out. And the lady was taking forever. I don't know what she was doing, credit card or what, but she wanted all small bills, and so it took forever. And I looked to my left, and there's like the people at the higher tier, they get to go ahead of you. Well, usually there's a cashier for those higher people, but there was nobody there, so that person was in the bathroom. So there's a guy standing there. So I'm holding all these chips in my hand, all stacked up, and as I was walking over to the cashier, this like thug looking black guy, not because he's black, because he's a thug looking guy, was like following me around the casino because I had all these like lined up. I was trying to put them in order so I could put them on the desk, and then I end up taking the picture, and he's standing right there watching me take the picture. So I go stand in line at the cashier, and he's watching me there, and I'm like, this is just great. So I'm waiting forever, and there's a guy standing down there. He gets to go first. So the lady finishes up with the cashier lady finishes up with the other lady, and the guy down on the other end, who's got the higher tier card, walks away. And I'm like, I didn't know if he was coming over or what. I walk up. She's like, no, don't put all those chips up here. She's like, give me the higher level chips. Leave the ones and fives. We'll do those separate. So she colored me up those, and then she did the other ones separately. Ended up coloring all that stuff up and walking away. And I don't know, man. My problem is I'm such a perfectionist about stuff. I play everything out to like the finest detail, the smallest detail. I remember one time I had to do a deposition. I practiced for that deposition every night for at least a month. I wrote down every question they could ask me, how I could answer it, how I could turn things around, and then I critiqued myself. Okay, if I said this, how could they turn it around? If I said this, how could they turn it around? I fine-tuned my answers perfectly, and that's the kind of person I am. So when I make a mistake like that with giving my name, the problem with giving my name was they already knew me as Joe. Even though now this place is also IDing, so they kind of know my name. So I was kind of like, I had like 20 minutes to figure it out, but I was just going to say Joe or Joe K, because Joe K is the way that I sign up for the game. So it's in line with what I tell them that my name is at the casino. Well, this pit boss was like, well, you're lucky because you're going to need to give ID. If it's anything more than this, if it's 600, you'd have to give ID. If it's 501, you'd have to give ID. I'm like, well, okay, more reason for me not to play poker here, I guess. If I get good at poker, I'll just play at my local club and I'll have a 45-minute drive instead of a 4.5-hour drive to get here. So I don't know. I feel like I did the right things overall, but I could have been better. I should have thought of a better last name before it came to that. But things were kind of up in the air. I didn't know if he was going to try to force me to give ID or not. So I was kind of thinking maybe I should give a different last name that was like similar to my real last name that could be mistaken for it. So anyway, and in front of him, I'm like, look, I don't want to give you my ID because I don't want to get stuff in the mail. And I said, I know what you're going to say. We're not going to get you stuff in the mail. This is just for the paper. But in the past, I've given you guys all my information and said I don't want any mail, and you've sent me mail. So I used that as my reason. Hopefully that was good enough, but it annoyed the heck out of him. And all he wanted was to do his job and give me the chips. So anyway, I'm stopping for food right now. And then I only have like 2 miles range. There's a gas station like a mile down the road. We'll stop there, and I'll be back to update you. All right, guys, I am back. So still struggling with a lot of stuff as far as what's been going on with a couple casinos. I'm still going through everything in my head, trying to figure it out. I am contemplating tomorrow going to 1, possibly 2 casinos that I was told not to come back. We'll see what happens with that. Probably play a little bit of poker tomorrow as well. Definitely be playing some blackjack tomorrow. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of things to figure out. A friend of mine sent me a book on Pot Limit Omaha, and he sent it to me yesterday morning. I'm already halfway through it. By the end of the day tomorrow, I hope to be done with that one, and then just let it kind of simmer in my brain for a while, and then probably go back through again and listen to it again. It's a book, but I set my phone up to read it for me, so probably listen to it again maybe next week sometime, but tomorrow and tonight we'll probably finish that book. Okay, so let me tell you about this. So my youngest son, does not like school. All my other kids love school. They get good grades, and they are book smart. This kid is street smart. This is the one that went and got all the golf balls and cleans them and sells them back to the golfers. He just made $100 sale on golf balls, and he's still working on an order that he's filling for golf balls. So definitely really smart with business. He started other little businesses, and him and his friends are going to do a business here in the fall, picking up leaves. So we recently got a new lawn sweeper, which picks up debris, lawn debris, grass clippings, stuff like that. And him and his friends are going to be using it to be cleaning people's yards of leaves and making money with that. But the thing I'm concerned about is school, because money comes and goes, but education is something that stays with you forever. And so I thought about the things that he likes, and he likes Pokemon. And I've tried to fight it for a long time, but instead of fighting it, I'm going to embrace it. And so for him, I bought either 9 or 10 graded Pokemon cards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show him pictures of these, I'm thinking, and have him put them in order by best to worst. And then we're going to have some incentives for him to be able to get these, starting with the worst and working his way up to the graded 10 out of 10 Pikachu first year, which is worth quite a bit from what I understand. It's not with the best grading company, so we'd probably crack it and send it to PSA to get it regraded, but he'll be super excited about that. So what I'm going to have him do is I'm going to have just little things that he needs to get done in order to get those. So maybe like the first week, he needs to go to bed on time, wake up on time. Second week, he needs to do the same thing plus his chores, not argue with his siblings, stuff like that. And hopefully by the time we get to the top one, it'll be end of the year, close to the end of the year, probably November, and he'll be super excited, and he would have gotten into good habits and all that. Plus, having them be graded, he's not going to rip them up, leave them outside, whatever happens to them, get them wrinkled up. They're graded, they're in slabs, and they'll continue to grow in value. So tell me what you think about that, if you have any opinion on that, if you think that's a good idea or not. Anyway, like I said, and I hate to be cryptic, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes with these casinos. I'm working on a lot of information, and there are a bunch of episodes I haven't released yet just because I'm just not ready to do them yet. With a lot of information I don't know if I want to release quite yet. So all right, let's do our segments real quick, and then we'll talk. What did you eat today, MW? I had 4 pieces of chicken breast today. They really hit the spot. Give them like a 10 on a scale of 2 through ace. I would have liked some kind of sauce on them, but I didn't get that. What did you tip today, MW? So, I had the 2 blackjack sessions, which I did okay on, and I had the Pot Limit Omaha session. The blackjack sessions, the 2 sessions, I tipped a total of $0, and the PLO, I think I won probably 5 hands in that half hour, 45 minutes, whatever it was, and I tipped $1 each time. Yeah, that's it for those. And what did you learn today, MW? Well, I'm learning every day as far as new skills. Today I learned skills on Pot Limit Omaha, and how to play a little bit better, how to bet better, things like that. So I'm slowly picking up those skills. I'm not saying I'm great, but I'd be perfectly happy if I was able to play online just for like 50 cents a dollar, or 25 cents, 50 cents, and be able to pick up an extra $100 or $2 per day. I think that makes a big difference. Bring up my confidence, bring up my skill level, and hopefully develop into something bigger. And hopefully I'm not banned from every casino in the country by the time those skills are good, because maybe I'll play live one day in a tournament. So yeah, that's what's going on. Right now we're heading toward home. There's a chance that we might go play a little bit of poker tonight, but I'm not positive. Most likely not. Tomorrow we have to get up early, get to the office, get clocked in, and then head out for the day. And it is a Friday, so it will be getting busy a little bit early tomorrow. So I'm going to get to the office as early as possible and get out to the casinos and start making money as early as possible. But for now, we're going to head home. If I do play poker tonight, I will probably add it to a new episode. Right now it's 72 degrees, mostly clear skies, beautiful sunshine outside, 0% humidity, so just a beautiful day. Gonna head home, hang out with the family. Those Pokemon cards came in the mail, except for the graded 10 Pikachu that will be in the next couple days, and we'll go through all that, and I'll keep you updated. So for now, I'm going to let you go. If you have any questions or comments, my email is mwusa21@gmail.com, mwusa21@gmail.com. See you next time.